Hey, I'm running for office again. The same seat, I have a solid base. I know 16,800 people in the district actually went and voted for me. Well, I'm a platform Republican. Does anybody know what that means? Yeah. Right. At 93% of the time I voted. Some real concerns, all our issues, or all the bills that I submitted previously came from people like you. They had an idea. And yeah, we screen them, and you can only do so many. You only get 2 years, and there's only 24 hours in a day. But I was always transparent, as you well know. If you didn't like something I did, the door was always open. I remember we had a bunch of Democrats protesting outside my office. Sarah Ledford, I don't know if you know who she is. Yeah. She called up and said, Congressman, there's a bunch of people protesting outside. I said, great, they have a right to protest. Invite them in, make sure they have water and coffee, and let them use the restroom. And if they want to make an appointment to see me. You know, we never had another protest outside our office. Yeah, and that's the way it is. And so I wanted to be a voice of all the people. I didn't have to agree with them, but this is one thing I always try to do, and I don't have all the answers. All the other politicians are going to say, I have all the answers. I'm sorry. And if you're looking for a perfect candidate, I got bad news for you. Jesus Christ is not running. But if you elect me, he will be well represented, okay? As will your rights to protect all your rights in the Constitution. Can we do it constantly? You know, sometimes things slip by us, and anybody tells you that doesn't happen, they're lying to you, okay? That's just the way it is. But here's the thing. You are always welcome to spend the day with me as a congressman. Few of you took me up on it. Few of you came to Washington and actually walked with me for the entire day. You can't go on the floor of Congress, but when I have a lobbyist or somebody coming into my office, you could have sat there like a fly on the wall, and you could have heard the entire conversation. We are open and transparent. I earned the second most transparent member of Congress. I got a 100% score from the Citizens Council Against Government Waste. We're going to do some things when I go back to Washington because now I know the ropes. I know the battlefield. We're going to pass Read the Bills Act. You know, that was originally sponsored by Ron Paul. Yeah. We're going to do our best to pass single issue bill. You know that bill called, I got beat up, Women's Protection Act, right? 6 pages. It's about protecting women. The other 70 pages had nothing to do with protecting women's rights. They fooled you. A lot of people say, Kerry, you know, you made a lot of mistakes. Yeah, I did. And there's 3 types of people in this world. A fool makes the same mistake twice. An average person makes a mistake and learns from it. And the genius, they learn from other people's mistakes. We did a lot of that too. We were all 3. Okay? So, I have a fundraiser November 15th at the Via Bologna in Clarkston. I'd really like you to be there because it really is up to you. If you want your freedom back, you can't just show up at meetings and, you know, shout and holler. You got to get involved. I'm looking for volunteers. I'm looking for people to come to that fundraiser. We're going to get 100,000 people to donate $20. And guess who you work for then? You know what? That's the way it works. These other guys, they're going to go to the lobbyists because those are the big donors. $5,000 a pop. Do you want your rights represented? Do you want somebody to fight for you? I talked to Mr. Lanier. Smart meters. What do they have in common with vaccine freedom or farm freedom? Does anybody know?
It's a freedom issue.
It's a freedom issue. But most importantly, here's the big alert. This is where the flag goes up. Is when the government or a quasi-government agency uses intimidation to force you to do something that tells me that's tyranny. You think you're in a country that's freedom? I'm sorry. They're taking it away slowly, chip by chip. You have to get involved. You have to have an advocate in Washington, D.C. I have proven myself as that advocate. The establishment, of course, spun it and sent out a lot of misinformation. But here's the thing. You could always come to my office. You could always make an appointment, sit down and talk to me. Some of you even had my personal phone number. You could call me. And that's the way it was when I was a congressman. I tend to improve on that a little bit more because we know where the mistakes were made and what we're going to do next time. One of the things we'd like to do when we go back to Washington is get some special interest groups from our district, like you folks. You have an issue, we want you to investigate it, give me the pros and cons, present your findings to me, and we'll do a bill on it. Because it's actually, that's my job, is to represent you, isn't it? Isn't that what it's all about? So why can't you have somebody that's accessible, that says, yes, I will, and sponsor a bill and tell you what the obstacles are and hurdles are honestly. And anyway, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I didn't mean to take up all this time, but
Well done.
Dennis, God bless you. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Michigan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Gruber, PhD from MIT, correct?
No, my PhD is from Harvard University.
Okay, Harvard, another prestigious school as well, and you teach at MIT.
Yes, I do.
Very prestigious school. Myself, I graduated from a small college. My dad was a factory worker. I had to work my way through college, but I understand very prestigious, and congratulations. But I want to go back. Earlier, there was some people on the, you as well as members of Congress stating that this was very transparent, this bill. And yet, from the very beginning, if I remember correctly, a lady got up in front of the floor of Congress and she said, you got to pass it before you can see what's in it. Do you remember who that was?
I believe that's a quote attributed to Nancy Pelosi.
Correct, thank you. And yet it was 2,700 pages, the original act, and if you read that 2,700 pages, you're going to see a lot that says to be determined in that bill. So the bill wasn't really complete. So how can you have a bill, pass a bill, before you can see what's in it, and call that transparent? Because I didn't get to see it, well, I wasn't here, but other members of Congress really couldn't see that. And then we find out now that, well, we were told that you can keep your insurance and you like it, and we know that's a lie. You can keep your doctor, and we know that's a lie. And you can keep your hospital, and that's a lie. Lies on top of lies. And it's not really about health care either. It's a tax. Premiums will be lower, and yet they're higher. Another lie. So let's backtrack. You apologized today for some comments you made in the video, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it says several times here you said you apologize for insulting others to make yourself look smarter or better than others. Or that's paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what you said. Is that correct?
Yes.
You want to repeat what you actually said? Go ahead.
No, what you said is a good paraphrase.
Pretty good. So let's be clear. You did not apologize for helping the administration deceive the American people on this Health Care Act, or for telling America the truth in your video comments about how it was a fraud upon the American people. Is that correct, sir?
I think the Affordable Care Act was passed in a highly transparent fashion with hundreds of hours of debate.
But every single thing they promised was a lie. How can you call that transparent? You didn't say what we're about to do for you is not going to really do you any good. You're not going to keep your doctor. You're not going to keep your hospital. Your premiums are going to go up. Why didn't you say that? You were the architect, one of the architects. You created the model. Is that model flawed?
I did economic microsimulation modeling that I believe is
Simulation. So you actually created the model to justify their conclusions. Seems about what you did. I mean, you're a lot smarter than I did. Now, here's an opportunity for you to come clean. Lies on top of lies. This is what you have done. You have been a co-conspirator in defrauding the American people, and you admitted it in two videos that I saw on TV, and I saw some here today. In helping this administration deceive our citizens, you received grants and contracts from the government, for either the federal government or the states. Was it closer to $2.5 million or $2.8 million you received over the course of implementing this Obamacare?
I don't recall the exact figure.
You're an economist. You know the quotes you said in the book you wrote. You know how to balance a checkbook. You know how to read a balance sheet. Was it 2.5 or 2.8 million or more? Plus or minus $100,000.
Once again, I don't recall the exact amount.
Now you know what? It's about lies, half-truths, and distortions. Why are you continuing to help this administration deceive the American public? With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.